What's up, guys? Week 4 of our class discussions over topics that we are reading. This week, the topic that we had was over speech and how it should be interpreted. The case that, or the article that we read was about Johnson versus Texas and how freedom of speech was perceived in that case, and also what we think it should be used as a country and as a people, and individually what we think freedom of speech is. So, um, brief background on the Johnson versus Texas case. Greg Johnson, he was a protester at the 1984 Republican National Convention. In the year 1984, Ronald Reagan was running for president. So I'm pretty sure that he had some things to say about Ronald Reagan. And if I do stand corrected, I think that 1980 was Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan. His first year was 1980. I was going to say it would have been Nixon, but I'm wrong. But anyways, I'm sure he had things to say about Ronald Reagan and Reaganomics and that whole deal. So that's probably why he was there protesting. But in the midst of him protesting with a group of protesters, he was given a flag from a building on the way to where the National Convention was being held. And he took the flag, threw it on the ground, lit it on fire, and burned it. And that caused that was a big deal for America, because why would an American do something like that to something that's so near and dear to everybody's heart and something that everybody takes pride in, whether it's Austria, Macedonia, Greece, everybody takes pride in their flag, but for you to burn your own country's flag, everybody thought it was a sign of treason, or it definitely could have been a sign of domestic terrorism, like you're almost declaring war on the United States. But he did that. He burned the American flag, and he was arrested in Texas for it. It was I guess it's a violation to burn the flag in Texas. So he went to court. I think he got like a $2,000 fine or something like that. So then after he went to court, after he was released from jail, he went to court in the infamous Johnson versus Texas case. In this case, the charges were dismissed on his behalf because it is freedom of speech. You have the freedom to do whatever you want to, whether that's right to assembly, right to say what you want, the right to publish whatever you want, right to express yourself, everything like that. And I think that the case was affirmed correctly, and it is a freedom of speech. But I also feel like there has to be a reason behind everything. And if his reasoning was because I didn't like what Ronald Reagan stands for, or I don't like what the country, what we've been going through, and I can't stand it anymore, so I'm not declaring war. I'm not saying I hate America, I hate the flag, or I hate the people in America. I don't like what we've been doing as a country. So that's like you guys are already destroying America already from the government. So me destroying the flag is almost the same thing. So if you're destroying us, I'm going to destroy the flag. So after that, but one of the judges in this case, Judge Rehnquist, I'm guessing that's how it's said, he did not agree with the other two judges. He said that Jonathan burning the flag does not constitute symbolic speech and will not be protected by his First Amendment right of the Constitution. And I get what he's saying, like that's not a freedom of speech, that's not like a protest, you're saying like I don't like America, but the flag means certain things to certain people. Like the Judge Rehnquist, it can mean a bunch of things. Like he said, it meant 200 years of war and bravery that people fought for the American flag and died for the American flag. So for you to disrespect the flag and the people that have stood and died before it, that's ultimate disrespect, and that you should not be defended by the First Amendment for you doing that because you are disrespecting other people in our history. But I think as a country where we draw the line is determining what the speech is. And I think that it doesn't symbolize, I think that does not constitute symbolic speech as as a representation of our freedom and the values that we hold as United States citizens. Because I feel like you have to have a reason behind it. Like you can do symbolic speech in many different ways, but burning a flag, me personally, it be too much in certain ways. Like I said earlier, it can be taken as domestic terrorism, or it can be taken as you taking a stand for something else. Like with the Colin Kaepernick, everybody took him kneeling during the national anthem as a disrespect to America, when really he was doing it for the injustice that black people were getting in the treatment between police and law enforcement, between police and law enforcement versus the black community. Like those are totally two different things, but it's perceived two different ways. So if Colin Kaepernick would have, I'm pretty sure he came out and said, "That's not why I'm kneeling. That's not why I'm kneeling. I'm not kneeling because I don't like America or anything like that. It's not anything to do with that. It's for this reason." But other people see it as him disrespecting the flag, and that's how people see Johnson. And Johnson, if he did come out and say that this is why I'm burning for this is why I did burn the flag, then everybody would be able to come to a conclusion like, okay, this is his reason behind it. Let's not take it. Some people will still take a problem. People will still take issue with it and still have a problem with it. But I feel like with things like that, if you do something to express your freedom of speech, you need to have a legitimate reason behind it. You cannot just, for example, burn the flag and say, I should burn the flag just to burn it. It takes a lot of effort to do something like that. It takes a lot of thinking to do something like this. So premeditation to burn the flag. You just don't wake up and burn the flag. It has to be a reason to it and a reason behind it. So if you come out and you say, I burned the flag for this reason, and it's a legitimate reason, then it can be taken as freedom of speech and freedom of expression and freedom to do whatever you want or something like that. But then if you do not have a legitimate reason, then it can be taken as domestic terrorism, or you're declaring war on the United States people. So that's my spiel on that. Have a good week.